Welcome back. A little bit more work this morning and then again later this afternoon. Reading through what comes next, and there is an order of operation to things, and apparently it's time to permanently attach the leading edges to the wing structure. I have to do this before I put the top skins on, so it seemed like a good time to do it. And as many others have discovered before me, this isn't as easy as it seemed. Parts of it are. So you can see I have my rivet gun shoehorned inside of that first bay there. There are, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bays inside that leading edge with ribs separating them. So there's 6 sets of ribs. Every rib has holes in the tail end that go into the spar. In the case of this end one, it goes through the spar and then into that main rib. And you have to put those rivets in now, which isn't that easy to do because, well, the skin is already attached to the leading edge. It has to be. So the only way to do this is to get the rivet gun in there, and technically the head of the rivet needs to go on the inside because that's the thinnest material, and then you get the rivet gun in there to shoot it and you buck from the backside. Don't mind the wandering camera. Not sure what happened there. Don't worry, I'll figure it out eventually and get you back. So you get the rivet gun in there and you get it on the head of the rivet, which requires the use of the double offset rivet tool because it's the only way you're going to get up close to the edge of the rib. That's a hard enough tool to use as it is and get things to come out correctly. Even more so when you can't actually see what you're doing. You can see my arm up in there on the rivet gun actuating this thing. So this is the outboard end of the wings. The first 2 ribs, both sets of rivets are in the same bay because the ribs face each other. So that if you can get it in there, you can get both sets of those. It's not that difficult. Beyond that, though, I couldn't figure out how you're supposed to get the rest of those bays. So I decided to go ahead and go to the other end. So this is the inboard end. And yeah, trying to figure out the best way to get the rivet gun in there and keep the air hose out of my way. So again, not terribly easy, but I can get this first row and this first rib. The next one, though, is not in the same bay, so I would have to go through the same kind of lightning hole in the very next rib over to get the next one. And the one after that, I would have to go through 2 sets of those. I don't know how anybody would ever be able to put solid rivets in there. Just short of putting them in backwards and then getting your arm in there and trying to hold the bucking bar, but then you're still doing it pretty blind and have no idea if you're getting those things set right. At this point, I was getting pretty frustrated trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. So I took a break here after this row and went and consulted some expert videos and online tutelage, and Chris to the rescue again. Come to find out this is a common problem with a lot of people, and I found other articles online. Vans has come out and said that you can use LP4 pulled rivets for the ones you can't reach, so long as the 2 end ribs end up with solid rivets in them. So I got that. In fact, I got one bonus one. So I had to order some LP4-4s and LP4-3 rivets because I don't have near enough of any of those to do what needs to be done. So I won't be able to finish this until later, but the good news is they're pulled rivets. I already have the angle rivet tool, so I can get those done pretty much at any point, as long as the bottom skins aren't on yet. So those are in order. I'll deal with it after I get back from this next trip. Moving along, I can very easily get the skin rivets there that go through the spar. Super easy, mostly gratifying to do. The ones that go through the leading edge, the spar, and the top of the main ribs needs to be slightly longer, so I put those in first. And then came back and put the regular ones in the rest of the holes, and then just went along with the squeezer and squeezed them. Came out really, really nice, and they are attached. I'll try and get you some different camera angles here. This is still the right wing. Eventually I'll move over to that left wing, which I had to get that fuel tank off and out of my way. That being said, I did get a package in from Ductworks today. Unfortunately, the bracket they sent me is another retainer clip for the lens, which I already had plenty of. At this point, I don't really want to do any more back and forth, so I'm gonna pick up a piece of 032 aluminum and make a template and see if I can't fabricate my own bracket just to get it done and over with. Again, that'll be after I get back from the next trip that I leave on Monday. So you can see my orange conduit just hanging out in the wing there. I ran that to make sure the lengths I bought were long enough, and I just kind of left it in there, but I have enough of those to do 2 separate runs in both wings. My thought process, as I mentioned before, is one conduit is going to be just signal wire, and then another one will be stuff that has power in it. That way I don't run any risk of inducing noise into antenna coaxes or anything like that. On to the left wing. This was a little easier because it has that inspection port right there. So I could just look through it, make sure I was actually on the rivet, and yeah, no worries. I am happy to say I did all of these and they all came out acceptable. I didn't have to drill any out, which was great because that would have sucked really, really bad. Yet another camera angle for you. The shop really needs some good cleaning, but so much stuff is in the way. I guess I'm not too far away from pulling these things out of the stands. Once the top skins are riveted on, supposedly it's strong enough to pull them out of the stands, and you can do the rest of the work with it in a cradle. I'm not sure if that'll be advantageous or not. I'll have to do some research on this next trip and decide. If so, I'll go ahead and get that cradle built and get it ready to go. Still not sure if I'm going to get the skins riveted on before I leave. It's not looking like it. Hopefully maybe just the right wing if I'm lucky. And I still have a leak test to do on that right tank. I'm just giving it all the time in the world to cure, so that'll be Sunday. So expect at least 1, maybe 2 more shorter videos from me between now and then, going over some more skin prep and possibly riveting, and then obviously the leak test, the big final leak test. So this is funny. You can see the bottom there. I totally forgot that I put you guys on the side opposite of where the rivets are coming through. You can see the main rib flange, but you can't see the rivets I'm working on. I figure it out here in a second and move you, but not until I had already shot and bucked all those rivets. So that's it for all of the ones that I can reach and I can attempt to reach. And now it's just finish off the rest of the rivets that I can squeeze. Hopefully I get back from this next trip, I'll have a whole bunch of parts waiting on me. I've got the fly LEDs kits, hopefully will be here when I get back, and the aluminum I need to make the bracket to finish installing it will be here. The rivets I need to finish these leading edges, those pulled rivets. Be a lot of good stuff to catch up on when I get back again. But progress is progress. As always, I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for coming along, checking out the channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Leave me some comments down below. Still learning as I go along, and plane's getting better and better, I think, but we'll see. I will see y'all on the next one.